Good morning. This is going to be take 3. I keep on rambling. I just keep on going off in various weird directions. None of it negative, but none of it really is important for my channel. Um, it is May 4th. It's a little bit after 11. It's about 11:10. Um, before I go to read from the book, the Hygge book, I don't have any tissue in here, do I? Dang it! My nose has been my right nostril is feeling clogged and just irritating me right now. So I gotta try to focus on something besides that. Before I start reading, I wanted to say something that I don't think I always say enough of, or maybe I say too much of, but I appreciate you guys. Within the last 24 to 48 hours, I have gained roughly 17 new viewers. We have jumped up. I'm going to say we because you guys helped me with this. I have jumped up from 1,114 people to 1,124 people overnight. Literally overnight, it jumped up by 10 people. It has jumped up by 17 people within the last 24 to 48 hours. Because of you, the viewers, my channel is growing again, which is awesome. And I wish I can sit there and touch my screen and figure out why. I know a lot of people will say it's because of your personality, it's because of your content, it's because, you know what, that in fact are part of my brain is going, jumped up that many people since Saturday. How much of it is people coming from my wife's channel who want to see my vlogs? And then, of course, the part of my brain that's always on the dark side is like, how many of these new people are going to be from the chain of people who were just insensitive to my wife? I hope it's the positive part, not the negative part, because I don't want to think about the negative part. I also know there's, ow, I keep on biting my cheek when I'm talking for some reason. I know the last couple of videos that I've been putting out have been about how to live happily, the Nordic secret to living happily, or how to Hygge, which is the Nordic pronunciation. The American pronunciation is Hygge. I know right now I'm talking about how to do it in the outdoors, and I'm about ready to do the last section of the first chapter on how to bring it indoors. I'm going to, I know a lot of people are going, I know what most of you are going to say with my question I'm about ready to ask, but no, maybe not, I don't know. How many of you have been enjoying this so far? I mean, I know I have. I know there was some aggravation over the weekend that I'm over. I've gotten over, and I I don't care. It's done and over with. Jerry's had her say. I've had my say. But I'll be honest with you. I don't like dealing with it. I don't like people doing it to my wife. I'm kind of happy that my wife was taking some of my advice on how to deal with it instead of letting it be a problem. But this series that I'm doing right now, it's probably going to take a good long period of time because it's a big book. It's a pretty good thick book. But my wife had made a suggestion, and this is the question I have to you. My wife made a suggestion. She suggested that if this, doing all the stuff on the Nordic people, whether it's the mythology of the Vikings or the Nordic cooking that I want to get back to, or reading materials like this on trying to live happy, She suggested making a channel solely for my discussions on the Nordic people, going all the way back to the Vikings. She suggested making a separate channel for that. And I was like, well, I don't know, because right now I feel that this channel is still not grown enough for me to make a secondary channel geared specifically for one particular subject, because I never really know what day I'm going to talk about the Nordic stuff. I never know what day I'm going to talk about just generalized life. Sometimes they're combined. Of course, she did make the suggestion that I can always make the video and then decide what channel it should go on to, whether I start a whole channel just about Nordic things, from Vikings to just Nordic life. So I'm asking you guys, do you think I should do something like that? If not, then I won't. But if I get enough yays, I might do it. I just wanted to see what you guys, my viewers, have thoughts upon. Anyhow, let's get to the book. Today, we're going to talk about how to bring nature's Hygge or Hygge indoors. And I have a number of areas that I've basically marked out. And this one's going to be short because it's only a page and a half. Anyhow, excuse me. Let's see here. The first thing I have underlined is, if you're a fan of social media, then make a certain... Wait a minute. Yeah, then make a conscious effort to follow nature outdoors. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of an issue this morning. So let me just reread that from the beginning. If you're a fan of social media, make a Nope, can't do it this morning. I'm sorry, folks. My brain is not fully concentrating on this, so it's going to be a bit of a mess, and I'm sorry. I really do apologize. But basically, if you into social media, she wants you to try to make an effort to follow nature, outdoor gardening, and landscaping blogs. Writers and photographers. Indoor plants may have again become fashionable of late on social media, but they are a timeless addition to any Hygge home. A subject we'll return to in a chapter on design. So basically, she's trying to tell us that if we are on social media, or we're people who like to look at things on social media, she wants us to try to make an effort to start watching things about nature or outdoors or gardening and landscaping blogs. Which, when I read this last night, I was like, ooh, I should jump online and do that. But it was kind of late at night the other day. Not yesterday, but like Saturday evening. When I read this, it was after midnight, and I was getting ready to go to sleep. Then I have this area marked that says, one of the best investments you can make to create an atmosphere of natural Nordic Hygge is to take a long, hard look at your domestic space. Basically, look at your home. This is a topic I'll return to in more detail later in the book, but suffice to say that there are a few tricks you can easily employ to get your nature fix at home. And then she has bullet points. And the first bullet point, the first bullet point that I marked, because this first one that she has written down, talks about looking at a Japanese, and I can't even say the word, some kind of Japanese method and it's not feng shui. It starts with a K. So I skipped it because I didn't quite understand what she was talking about. But she basically said, look at this method and ask yourself if the object if the objects you already own spark joy if they do not, ditch them. So basically, keep whatever sparks joy, and if it's something that doesn't spark joy, just get rid of it. Be ruthless. A cluttered living space only leads to a cluttered mind. I agree. I do. We are in the process. For those of you who are like, oh, you've got such a cluttered home. You must be whatever negative stuff people want to say. I agree with her. That's one of the reasons why when I was growing up, my mind was always active and had a lot of imagination and just exploding everywhere. It's because of the fact that I had very little to no clutter. Yeah, every so often I'd have to rearrange or clean up my room in my single days after I turned 20. To be honest with you, this is probably just in this room alone. And I'm not trying to belittle anything of Jerry or anything like that, but Jerry has had a lot of influence. But I look around in this room and I'm like, and I'm not talking about the whole room, I'm just talking about my desk. I look at my desk from time to time and I go, yeah, I got too much stuff on the desk. I need to rearrange and declutter because it's just becoming too much. But thanks to the silver lining of me not having a job and being able to spend more time at home helping Jerry with various projects of cleaning and decluttering and organizing. And one of the things that somebody said to Jerry on her channel about our lifestyle, and they don't even know nothing about our lifestyle, is we had talked off and on about getting a shed or a storage unit. Well, the shed, not the storage unit, the shed's primarily function would be to take all the holiday decorations and all the stuff that we have stored in our attic and bring it down the ground level and put it in that shed, because I'm getting too old or too physical. I'm having too many physical issues with climbing up and down the stairwell, the fold down ladder, basically, to get up into the attic to get the holiday decorations down. It's causing back problems, it's causing hip problems, it's causing knee problems. That in fact are because of something going on with my equilibrium or whatever. Being up that high with such a narrow platform and no real handles or safety whatever, it causes me to have some anxiety of falling down and hurting myself, breaking an arm, breaking a leg, breaking my neck, hurting Jerry if she tried to catch me, having one of the tote boxes as I'm trying to lower it down to Jerry bust open and fall on Jerry, or just me losing my grip and hitting Jerry the wrong way. Just a lot of safety things that make me go, no, we have to get a shed so I don't have to do this no more. Now, the other thing we did talk about was getting a storage unit for right now. It's kind of hard for us to do some of the projects in some of those rooms with the furniture in the room, because we want to rip up carpeting and have hardwood floor, because carpeting is a very non-healthy thing, even though a lot of people are like, oh yeah, the carpeting in your house makes your house feel warmer, blah 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 blah. Yeah, but the flip side of the coin, which is worse than having cold floors, is the factor that carpeting can trap allergens, mites, dust, all kinds of harmful things when you breathe it in, especially if you have allergies. It could make your allergies worse. It can make your breathing worse. I'm in this room, and this room has carpeting, and I've been having problems breathing lately. And I try to keep the carpet as clean as possible, but the thing is, carpet fiber, modern day carpet fiber, traps various elements within the fibers, which makes it bad. So I'd rather have a hardwood floor where I have to wear house slippers or have throw rugs or wear socks, which I already wear socks as is because my feet are always cold. But if I were to have hardwood floors, I'd have a pair of house slippers next to my bed so I can slip my foot that already has a sock on it into the slipper so my foot does not touch the cold floor, even though the sock is supposed to keep my foot warm. It doesn't. That the it I have I have pros and cons about both carpeting and hardwood floor. But the problem is there's more cons to having the carpet. So, but anyhow, um, I have this marked off. It says, once you've stripped back your domestic space to the items you really love and cherish, invest in a variety of houseplants. According to NASA, this is NASA saying this, and I don't know where she gets her information, but she says, according to NASA, the best indoor plants for purifying the air include, these are basically plants that will basically clear out air, and I'm like, get these plants, and hopefully they're not heavily scented. I can probably bear mom smoking. Dwarf date palm. I read this and went, it's a dwarf date palm. Does it produce dates? Will I be able to have be able to grow my own dates in the house, even though I don't like dates? Boston fern, Kimberly Quinn fern. These are fern plants. I don't know much about ferns, but okay. Spider plant. I heard that and I went, spider plant. I don't know. And yeah, I'm taking the name and getting literal, which they're probably not literal. It might be the way the plant looks. It might look like a 8-legged spider, but I read that and I'm just like, I don't know if I want a spider plant in my house because I don't want spiders all over my house. But that's just me taking the name of the plant literally. Chinese evergreen, and I'm like, is that anything like a bonsai plant? Bonsai tree? I'd have to look into that. Sounds interesting. Bamboo palm. I've heard about people having these miniature bamboo type plants that they don't get very big, but they're beautiful. They're beautiful to look at. So hey, sure not. Weeping fig. Weeping fig. Okay. This one I kind of went, ooh, devil's ivy. Now, if this is the plant that I think it is, because I'm not 100% sure what a devil's ivy is, but I've heard of people getting a plant that it's considered an ivy plant, that when it starts to grow, it will cling to the walls and whatnot. And I'm like, I don't want a plant that I have to trim or prune or worry about, so I don't know about that one. I'd have to go look it up. This one sounded interesting. Flamingo Lily. Now, my mom likes the smell, or she used to like the smell and the look of lily of the valley, which is an aquatic type lily that grows basically off of a lily pad in the middle of water. So when I read this flamingo lily, I was kind of like, is that anything like the lily of the valley? It's beautiful. It has a great scent, but does it mean I have to leave it in like a pot of water or some sort of little pond? I don't know. It's another plant that I'd have to go look up. This next one I couldn't even pronounce. It looks like lily turf. Yeah, it's exactly what it is. Lily turf. A lot of these plants I'll have to look up. Broadleaf lady palm. Okay. I have no words for it. This one I'm probably gonna botch, but it's a type of daisy. Barbeton daisy. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Yeah, this one I'm definitely going to mess up, but it's a cornstalk dicana, canony. Um, I'll spell it out for those of you who can probably break it down for me. Um, Dracaena. Don't know. English ivy. Now, I don't know much about plants. I really don't. So this is kind of all like foreign territory, but I'm willing to explore it. Ivy of any form, from what I understand, they're a type of clinging plant that grows upwards and clings to whatever it can. In fact, I have a plant that looks like some sort of ivy or creeping vine that is evasive. It's not native to this country, and it has a way of basically choking the life out of whatever is growing up around. In fact, I've had to remove it on several occasions, and it just keeps on popping up. Is it considered? I don't know if it's an ivy or not, but it's considered a weed. It's evasive. It's not native to America. In fact, if you go down towards the south or certain parts of the eastern part of the United States, southeastern part of the United States, you'll see these trees that have this green thing wrapping around the tree, growing up the tree. It literally uses the plant to climb as high as it can to collect as much sunlight and moisture as possible, and it slowly kills the tree or kills the plant because that's just the way it is. And the American trees around here are not used to it. So it's an invasive type of plant. I really don't want to get any invasive type of plant in my house or garden or whatnot because I have the plants that I want to grow, and I don't need some vine or whatever trying to choke the life out of the plants that I want in my house. But English ivy. Now, English ivy, from what I know, a lot of houses have those, and they literally climb up the wall of the house. They're usually on the outside of the house, and they like look like the whole side of the house or whatever side that this ivy is growing on covers the whole house. And it looks great. It looks beautiful, and it makes the house look not creepy or scary or anything, but it just has an interesting look to it. And I think that's English ivy. I don't know if I would want that indoors. Vergate snake plant. Okay. Don't know what that is. Red-edged. Here's that word again. Dreadicana? Dreadicana? I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but red-edged Dreadicana. Ah, now this one I might want in my house. Peace lily. I heard some people call it a piss lily, but that might just be the English accent that I heard them using. I've seen it on TV. It's a simple plant, simple one pot plant that just grows and spreads out like just when it blooms. It looks like one big giant white leaf. That's the only petal you get, but it's a huge petal. I'm not even going to try to pronounce this particular plant. Florist chrysanthemum, maybe. Yeah. It doesn't help when I have issues with speaking, let alone with reading. But those are the various houseplants that NASA, according to her, suggests for indoor plants for purifying the air. Which ones are the biggest and most hardiest and can stand being in a house with a smoker? That's what I want to know. Not trying to blame Mom. But anyhow, she also goes in here to make other suggestions and bullet points. And she says here, as a cook, I can recommend a small aloe vera in the kitchen. I know why. I'll just continue reading this, see if she explains. Not only are they low maintenance plants, but the sap has terrific healing properties if you burn yourself while cooking. Yes, exactly. The aloe vera plant, if you were to take a aloe vera plant and snap off one of the ends if you get burned and rub it over the burn, yeah, it's going to sting for a moment or two because you're rubbing cool aloe vera juice or sap or whatever you want to call it on the burn. But not only does it keep the burn from becoming nasty, blistery type burn, but it actually, in the long run, soothes the pain of the burn and whatnot. I'm going to give you a little bit of a story. Back a good 15 years ago, shortly after I got married with Jerry Ann, about 5 years after we got married, so it would have been like 2004, 2005, somewhere around there. My cousin Michelle was getting married, and we went to Ohio to celebrate the whole 9 yards. And during the summer before they got married, when we were there, we went to a water park. And I am extremely sensitive to sunburn. Well, I was literally sunburnt from head to toe. The only area of my body that did not suffer from the sunburn was basically my waist because of my bathing suit. It hurt like the dickens, and it was only my front. My back did not have any burns, and it hurt like hell. And my aunt's sister, who was a nurse, went out and bought 2 gigantic bottles of aloe vera lotion and literally covered me from head to toe in this lotion, which became more like a gel on my body, like a goop, like jelly, basically, on my body. And it soothed me and whatnot, but the burn was so severe that my aunt's sister basically was like, you got like 1st degree, almost 2nd degree burning, because no matter how many times or how much of that aloe vera stuff that she put on me, it still hurt like crazy. And I would wake up in the middle of the night in tears because I was hurting so much. But yeah, aloe vera does do a great job from keeping you from blistering and whatnot. I was so thankful that when we got home that by the time we left Ohio to go home, within a like 28, 24, almost 48 hour period, that the burning and whatnot stopped. But I looked like a lobster. I looked like cooked lobster. Let's see here. Here's another suggestion of hers. Once a week, buy or cut, if you're fortunate enough to have a garden and they're in season, some fresh flowers. A small posy of flowers along with some votives. Yeah, votives is the simplest starting point for creating Hygge, however you want to pronounce it, in the home. Stick to one variety of flowers or one shade and resist the urge to buy mixed bunches. They just look, as she put it, twee, Twee. Basically just simple terminology. I think she means basically if you buy a bouquet of flowers that have a variety of colors and whatnot, it just doesn't really work. For some people it does, because some people are like, oh, look at all the different colors. But in the sense of Nordic style, as well as, from what I understand, feng shui, if you have too many different colors, too many different variety of colors in a given space, it kind of causes the mind because of our eyes, to be distorted. Um, in most European countries, most European places that I've been, the interior of the houses are usually, you know, various shades of white. I know some people are like, but if you have a house that everything is basically all white, it just doesn't look right. Well, no, the walls might have a shade of white. The floors might have a natural wood or stone color, like a natural color. The furniture might have natural wood tones, but nothing's all white. It's just the fact that if you have too many off colors, like let's say you have a room where the walls are white. I know the walls in this room are not white. I'd love to change the color. I don't know why. But let's say your walls are white and your countertop is granite and your cabinet is a shade of light wood tone, and your floor is white or a natural shade color, and you go out and get a bouquet of flowers, and let's say the bouquet that you buy, the colors within the bouquet are not natural. They're artificial colors of blue, or blue with some sort of different colored edge. What she's trying to say is get yourself a bouquet that's all white or all rose color or all yellow. Like, get yourself a bouquet of daisies, just all daisies, or all roses, or all whatever. Basically, get a bouquet that's all the same color. That way, you're not throwing off your color pattern, because the color pattern in most European homes, if you have, like, let's say your countertop is a wood grain or granite color, and you buy a bouquet of flowers to put on that countertop or on that table, and that bouquet has multiple colors, it throws off the scheme of having solid colors in a given area. I'm not saying go match a bouquet of flowers to the color of your tabletop. You don't want to try to get, like, let's say you have a natural wood tabletop that is either cherry or oak, or some dark colored wood like mahogany, cherry, or oak. And then you go out and buy a bouquet of multicolored roses. It's gonna throw the feng shui or the natural order of things. You don't go out in nature and see like a clump of flowers, and that clump of flowers has 3 different colors within it. Most clumps of flowers will be one solid color. Every flower within that clump, I keep on saying clump, I don't know why, are going to be the same color. You're not going to have purple and yellow and orange in the same clump. Not unless you have 2 different sprigs or stalks of flowers that are 2 different color palettes. Let's see here. She also says here, shades of, and I cannot, this first word throws me off. I'm just going to spell it Viridin. So whatever that word is, for Verdin? Viridin? I don't know. But shades of blue, gray, and natural slate or blonde are intricately smoothing and provide the right background for your stylish Nordic-inspired fashions. It doesn't take much to create Hygge wherever you are. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-in-cheek. Basically, she's reiterating the same thing I already just said. Basically, if you get yourself some, your walls, your countertops, your backgrounds are shades of blue, gray, or natural slate or blonde, it creates the perfect smoothing background for your Nordic styled or your Nordic inspired furnishings. Now, yeah, that's the end of this chapter. Now the thing is, I know a lot of us here in America are like, that just sounds so boring and depressing and bleh. Well, I'm going to use my experience. Excuse me. I'm going to use my experience from Europe, from Germany. When I was growing up, the 3 years we spent in Germany, the 2 different houses that we lived in. The first one was the upstairs portion of a house that the beautiful, lovely German family who designed their house to have an upstairs apartment so they can basically cater to having American families live with them and experience living in Germany. I mean, true living in Germany, not living on base surrounded by Germans. I wish I could find a way to keep in contact, find them on Facebook or some other social media and try to reconnect with them, because they were a great family. I'm going to give you their last name. You may or may not be able to find them, but the Hygge family. The Hygge family of Germany allowed us to live with them for a year. Not because that was our contract, but because the fact we were on a wait list to live on base housing, apartment type complex or complexes. So instead of trying to stay that long in a guest house, we opted to find a rental facility off base. And I can tell you that story at a later time if you want. But the Hygge family had 2 little daughters who would come upstairs to visit with us every so often. My family enjoyed living off base because not only did we get to be social with the locals, but it gave us an experience that is a once in a lifetime ordeal. Like literally, if you ever get the experience to spend a year or more living in a foreign country, I would say go for it. It's a learning experience. It's a cultural experience. It gives you an insight on how the rest of the world is. But the furnishing of not the furnishings like as in furniture, but the color schematics of the apartment was pretty much natural tones of white and blonde, which is basically almost a white countertop, a light colored countertop, and white tile flooring. Was it white tile flooring, or was it a natural blonde wood flooring? I can't remember the exacts, but I just remember everything was white and bright and whatnot, which is great because when you live in the upstairs apartment and your only source of light is these narrow windows on the roof that can be opened during the warmer season to let fresh air through the house, it was a beautiful experience. Same with the second place we lived in Germany, our third and final year before coming back to the States, was an apartment attached to a rouladen or shade factory. Basically, a rouladen is the shades that would come down over the window and block out all exterior light from coming in or all interior light from coming out. It was something the Germans developed during World War II so bombers could not see the village or the homes of the villagers, but could see the factories and all the different things that were meant to be targets for bombers. But again, both places were natural light tones, whites, light colored wood. The flooring might be a slate or darker color. For the most part, most Germans, or the houses that we lived in Germany, including the base housing, did not have carpeting. It was all hardwood floor or tiling. And I look back at it going, it did a lot of good. I mean, didn't have well, didn't know I had allergies back then. Who knows when my allergies decided to appear. We just know that I suffered most of my allergy suffering started in Arizona. But when the sun was out and the curtains were were open and whatnot, um, the white floors and white tiling, white walls, the light tones basically would literally help enhance lighting in the house. So during the daytime, like here in America, a lot of people here in America will turn on lights because even with the curtains open, the dark color, like the walls behind me, the dark coloring walls would absorb the light instead of reflect it, lighting up the room. That's one of the reasons why I literally would prefer to be able to go around and paint all my walls white or a natural color or even blue. She talks about blue being okay, blue, gray. I wouldn't. Well, for the most part here in Missouri, I don't think gray would be good. This room is gray, and I don't know if it's the tone of the walls or what, but I don't get the full the fullness of what would be joyous colors or feng shui or anything like that. So it's kind of like one of those things where I'm just like, do I want to change the color? But change the color, it means I have to take everything away from the walls, everything off the walls, and just paint. But for the most part here in America, we like color. We like to paint rooms a certain color. We like to paint our houses a certain color. We like to have certain kinds of colors in our furnishing and certain kinds of colors in our walls and cabinetry and whatnot. We don't want just what some Americans would call bleak, bland, boring white. Now, she's not telling us, and neither am I trying to say that we need to basically do what is being told in this book. Sorry, I'm hearing noise outside. I can't tell if it's rain or wind. But for those of us who might want to live or decorate our houses in a Nordic fashion, would have to go and change our cabinets to white, our walls to white, the countertops to slate or blonde or some other natural, changing it to some other natural color would be a different cultural group. But see, here in America, we tend to jump from trend to trend to trend and not choose one that suits our personality. We're trying to keep up with the Joneses, as the term would be used. I'm sorry, my eyes been giving me problems today, so I'm using glasses a lot. One of the big trends that started in California and kind of slowly spread its way westward, but it did not stick, was the Japanese way of feng shui. Because one of the reasons why a lot of people didn't cling to it basically was all the different feng shui of the Nordic inspired style or whatnot would mean that most Americans would have to go and buy gallons of paint to repaint their homes, trash all their old furniture and buy natural wood tone furniture, things of that nature, which I'm not saying we need to do. She's not saying what we need to do. She's just telling us what is inspired or which is things that the Nordic people do. And it's not just Nordic people. Germany did it. I don't know about Britain. I don't know about where she lives. I don't know what her house looks like. She's never shown pictures of the house or anything like that, but she's shown pictures of other things. But I'm not one of these people to jump on somebody onto a bandwagon just because it sounds like, ooh, that sounds great. If I were to jump on that bandwagon of changing my house to be Nordic inspired, well, one, I don't think I'd throw anything away. Most of my furnishings, especially in this room, are of natural wood tone colors or natural coloring, except for the walls are a little bit darker gray than I would want them if I were to. If I knew about this stuff before we purchased this house, I'd be like, that room needs to be changed. That room I want to change. This room, because this room is a darker gray than I would want. The guest room is purple. Why anybody would want purple walls in their room is beyond me. But my sister-in-law, Janie, likes it because purple is her favorite color. Jerry Ann's craft room is green. I can't remember if our bedroom is white or some other funky color, but the rest of the house is pretty much white. Mom wanted her office space, and I don't know if her bedroom as well, painted a sky blue, which blue is one of the colors that she suggests. The thing is, the light blue that she has is you can tell that she is a heavy smoker because they're turning that weird yellowish color. I love my mom. I really do. Knock on wood, she'll be with us for a couple more years. Hopefully 10 more years. I don't know. But Diane and I have already basically said that before we do anything with this house, whether we sell it or stay in it and try to rent out the other rooms as guest rooms, or just have them open as guest rooms for company. One of the things that we already said is we're definitely going to have to like repaint those walls, clean up those rooms, most likely rip up those carpets because we don't want carpeting in our house anyhow. A lot of little things. The benefit, though, please don't get me wrong, because I'm not pre-planning what we're gonna do after my mom passes, but the benefit is we'll have the doorway to close off those two rooms, so we can keep those two rooms closed off. And if we have any house pets, because Diane has a friend that's allergic to certain kinds of animals, cats especially. If we have any house pets, I want a dog, so we'll most likely have a dog. Hopefully we'll have a dog and a cat, but who knows. We can lock them in those rooms without that dog or cat coming out here and causing problems with allergens or anything like that. That and a factor, my mom wanted a walk-in shower. She got a walk-in shower. The walk-in shower is big enough that if I can get a shower stool for Jerry-Ann, I can put it in there, and Jerry-Ann won't have as many issues with bathing. Our biggest issue right now with bathing is just stepping over the tub to get into the shower. But she does her best. I help her out. Yeah, TMI. That might have been TMI, but oh well. Getting back to the subject matter of bringing Hygge or Hygge indoors, between the house plants and just color schematics. Now, I know a lot of people don't want to change out their cabinets or change their what they already have. But if you're somebody like me who is a little worried about houseplants because you don't have a green thumb, go for plants. Go to your local garden shop or florist or whatever, and talk to them. Especially if you have a Lowe's or a Home Depot that have people who are specially trained for gardening, their gardening center, go to them and ask them about indoor plants. What kind of indoor plants could they purchase that are low maintenance? Or as you suggested, just start with simple low maintenance plants like an aloe vera plant. They're low maintenance. Small cacti that you can grow in a pot are low maintenance. Also, if you have certain kinds of pets, talk to your florist or your gardening center person or somebody who specializes in horticulture. I think I said that right. I don't know. I think I did. But somebody who specializes in plant life and plants and various species and how the various species of plants interact with your house pets, because cats and dogs will tend to try to chew on plants, and you don't want to bring in a plant that could be harmful to your house pet, because certain kinds of plants, and I don't know their names or what they are, but certain kinds of plants can cause intestinal issues, stomach issues, even induce vomiting, and you'll see the dog start to foam at the mouth because it was a poisonous plant. You don't want to bring that kind of plant into your house and then have to rush your favorite fluffy, house guest, your fur babies, as a lot of people will call them nowadays, to the vet because it chewed on a plant that got them sick. So you want to reduce the risk of your pets and whatnot getting sick from chewing on a plant. But the benefits of having plants in your home, as described in the book, is not only are they going to help with purifying the air, cleaning up the air, but they also give a sense of just being close to nature. One of the biggest reasons why I have not tried this yet is because the fact that I've always been bad at taking care of my houseplants. I'm not a green thumb person. I'm not a plant person. Yes, I like being among nature and the trees and all that stuff, but I'm no good at taking care of water, when to water the plant, when not to water the plant. My new tree out there, because it's raining, I don't have to water it, but I have to go out there and check the potting soil or the topsoil that we had to put around it, because we don't, the bag that the roots are in, it's a biodegradable bag, but the problem is if the roots get exposed too much to the elements, one, you can have critters chewing on it. Two, you can burn up the roots because of the sunlight. Just various reasons for having topsoil around your outdoor plant. And when I looked at it, I don't think they dug a deep enough hole for it, but that's just me. I think I would have given it another 5 to 10 inches worth of hole to put it into. But it's their job, not mine, so they did what they could. Anywho, I've been in here too long, and this is going to be a long video, and I'm sorry. I really am. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and put them in the comment box. Those of you who might have watched the first part of this video, there's a question in there for you guys to answer, so I'm hoping to see a number of answers to that question. If you don't remember what that question is, go ahead and go back to the beginning of the video and at least watch that part of the video. But anyhow, if you're new to my channel and you have not subscribed yet and you like the content of the video and you want to hear more, because I have all of that left to read. In fact, starting tomorrow, we're going to be on part 2 of this book called Outdoor Pursuits. And I have not read it yet, so I have to read some of it tonight so I can talk about it tomorrow. But if you enjoy the content and want to hear more or see more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and then a little bell will pop up. Click on that bell and you are going to be notified by YouTube when I put in my next video. So until next time, have a good day. Stay dry if you're in the storms. And, enjoy life. Have a good day. Bye.